is going to be the last phase and the fifth phase of the DMIC processes. This really gives you a very good setting about the entire storyboarding of all the hard work you have really taken to put in to keep your work sustainable, to make the improvements that you really wanted that, and how that can be put exactly in place with all the efforts through control plans, monitoring plan, and response plan. And Dr. Ravikumar sir was telling about the various types of training and the pilot implementations and the full scale implementation based on the projects that can be done. So I'll quickly take you to the control phase. So control phase is nothing but the entire storyboarding of who owns the process, what should I monitor, how can I detect changes in my process, how can I assure that things will continue the way that we had planned in our define and all the stages up to the improvement phase, how that can be made to exactly be in a place and how do I do if I detect a change in the process, suppose something is going out of the control, what are the various proactive steps that has to be done through a risk mitigation plan, and if the process is in control, are really my internal and my external customers, are they satisfied? This is going to be our walkthrough. So the control phase is really going to give us what are the objectives of a control phase. You prevent problem from reoccurring. You maintain the gains by documenting, standardizing, and monitoring the new processes. Then you develop a control plan through a proper monitoring system. What are the key steps? You try to standardize the solution, which you have worked all through your Six Sigma project. You implement with a scorecard. So there are key performance indicators that really help you to have a signal about whether that is red, orange, or green, whether your project is going in a perfect way, whether the real process improvement is happening, whether your green belt improvements are really into place, and how do you document the project. So based on all this, you get the outputs like you have integrated control charts and control plans. You have complete documentation of the entire improvement process and the solutions along with the metrics. Now, how does the control plan has and what and all it has? It really revolves around you need to align your systems and structures. Appropriate systems have to be put in place. You need to put the required structures like what are the new tools, what are the new machines, or whether some new design drawings or new tooling mechanisms or new materials that have been put into the process for improvement. So how do you align your systems and structures to support the exact improvement process, and how it is being documented is done in the documentation plan, so that who, when, where, why, and how this is going to be done through proper work instructions, standard procedures, what are the new process flow chart, and where the control points, and what are the control specifications, what are the customer specific, everything should look like a storyboarding, and that is kept in the documentation plan for our reference. Now, if something goes wrong, if or whether the entire new process implementation, whether the new improvement plans according to our improvement phase, is it being properly improved? It has to be monitored with a new monitoring plan. And what is the response plan? If anything goes wrong, how will I face the risk? Risk of how the risk mitigation and what is the weightage and what are the financial impact of putting the solutions in place has to be given in a response plan. Now, any new process introduced, any new improvement introduced, properly the stakeholders of that process, that is the workers, the supervisors, the store managers, the deciding department, whoever are involved in that particular process zone has to be properly trained. So what is the training plan consists and how it is going to be implemented, we are going to see. And this gives a solid foundation for our implemented improvements along with a verified impact, financial impact. So every new improvements, the old controls gets vanished, and we move into the zone of performance improvement so that we have the new zone of performance with new controls. Through the team develops the control plan by utilizing all available information from the following. You have to take the results from the measure and analyze phase. You would have done a lot of analysis through various tools, and you would have done the brainstorming, put in the root causes, and you would have applied the Pareto's, hypothesis testing, and R&R, whatever tools you have applied, and you have made whatever the results you have got from the measure and analyze phase. And what are the new lessons learned from the similar products and processes through should be properly documented and put in a control plan. And where is the team's knowledge of the process, old process and the new process? And you design your FMEA so that systematically you approach the risk mitigation whenever there is a failure. And how you design your reviews. Any process improvement has to be done with proper reviews. And what are the defect prevention methods selected? POCAIOC, that is mistake proofing. Mistake proofing, whether that is being perfectly done through checklists. You may be having the control charts for reference, weekly control charts or weekly review meetings with checklists, whether that is properly done and there is no defect that is happening in your new process. So what are the various defect prevention methods that has been selected? Everything the control plan gives you a very good storyboarding on it. So what are the control plan elements? It's exactly like whatever you want it will be highlighted in a control plan. What needs to be monitored, which machine, who will do that, and what product, what process needs to be monitored, when it will be monitored, how it will be monitored, all that stuff comes in preparing a control plan. So what needs to be monitored? Who is going to be keeping the process functioning properly? You have to bring